So I'm going to do a comparison of the Silencerco Sparrow 22 and the Silencerco Spectre 22. I've had both these suppressors for a little while now, and I've used them on a bunch of different 22 platforms. Ruger 1022, a Savage bolt action 22, and this Ruger 22 45 pistol. Each one has their pros and cons, but they're more similar than different, to be honest. I'll just start with specifications between the two. For this Sparrow 22, it's rated for 22 LR all the way up to 5.7 by 28 FN. It's full auto rated for only 22. Silencerco says the decibels for 22 LR is 113.8. It weighs 6.5 ounces and 5.08 inches in overall length. For the Spectre 22, it's rated for 22 LR all the way up to 5.7 by 28 FN. It's also full auto rated for only 22 LR. And Silencerco also says it's 113.8 decibels for 22 LR. It weighs 6.8 ounces and has an overall length of 5.98 inches. So clearly the Spectre 22 is longer than the Silencerco Sparrow. It's actually a little narrower too, not by much. I don't know if you can tell from the muzzle end. The diameter is a little bit smaller than, well, on the Spectre versus the Sparrow. But they're both different designs. They're different designs. This is a monocore design where, I wish I'd just disassemble it real quick. You just take off this cap, end cap, and then just push out, just like a syringe. You just push, and it comes out. It's like a clamshell design. And these just break away. And then you can just clean this. And the nice thing about this design is that these clamshells prevent any fouling from gumming up the tube of your suppressor. And then, I don't know if you can see, but these little waves on the end, muzzle end of the suppressor line up with the waves on the muzzle end of the tube. So it just slides over. You just line it up. And then just thread end cap back on. And that's it. That's all you have to do. The Spectre 22 is a little different. It's more of a, I would say more of a traditional kind of can style. It's got baffles in it that break apart, and they just kind of snap together. You just unscrew the end, and then the baffle stack comes out, and it is kind of sealed too because they click together, but they just snap on and off, and you want to make sure when you're putting them back together that you align these parts. So just like that. This does need to be cleaned too. And then it just goes. There we go. And all you have to do is just break apart those baffles and just clean them, put them in ultrasonic cleaner. I think you can do that with these baffles. At least I have been, and I haven't had any issues. I don't know if I mentioned this, but they also are fitted for 1/2 by 28 threads, I believe. And when you purchase your suppressor, it comes with a it's like a little spacer. So if the threads on your barrel stick out really far, on this one doesn't have it, and neither of my other 22s are like that. But sometimes the threads will stick out a little bit farther, and that way it seats up against the barrel or whatever. It's not just hanging off on the threads. You would use that spacer. But I don't have this issue with this. And it's unloaded, by the way. This particular pistol. So overall, both cans are really nice. I've had the Sparrow for a little bit longer than I've had the Spectre 22. This was my first 22 suppressor. And I will say that overall I think the Spectre 22 performs a little bit better than the Sparrow. There's a difference, at least to me and the people I'm shooting with, a noticeable difference on the first round pop, with the Sparrow being much louder than the Spectre. I don't notice any first round pop, to be honest with you, on the Spectre 22. But after that, they're pretty similar. I will say that the Spectre 22 is quieter to the ear. I know Silencerco says from their data that they're identical as far as sound performance. I will say that this is quieter, and other people that have shot with me agree that this is quieter. But it also is longer, so you know, it's kind of a give and take there. You know, if you don't mind the extra length, then you're probably better off with the Spectre 22. And also it weighs just a little bit more, 0.9 ounces more, almost an ounce more. But I mean, if you're really looking for something more compact but with good performance, user serviceable, backed by Silencerco's customer service, and this is a good candidate for that as well. When I got my Sparrow 22, it came with this really nice molly pouch. It's just nice because when I go to the range, I just use this and just clip it onto my range bag, and it's snug. It has a buckle on the front. I think this was made by Maxpedition. Could be wrong. Silencerco's logo up there. That's what the Sparrow came with. The Spectre came with this. It's almost like a glasses case, really. But they had this promotion going. I don't know if they're still doing it, but once you register your suppressor, you could get a free pouch, and you pick the size, and it's one of these pouches. But I did that, and then when I got the pouch and I was using it, it's really scratched up the finish on the suppressor all the way down to the bare metal. You just see the bare metal under it. And there was just some burr in the pouch that was scratching up the suppressor so bad that it scratched all the way down to its bare metal. So I emailed Silencerco about it. They took the suppressor back, they refinished it. That's why you don't see the markings on it, the serial number and manufacturer mark. It's there, it's just not easy to see because it's been refinished. But then they sent me a new pouch as well, and then I was using that pouch, and I know it's kind of hard to tell, but it's starting to wear just a little bit right there, just from one time putting in the pouch. So I'm just done with these pouches. I mean, it's not scratching up my Sparrow 22, so maybe the finish on the Sparrow is more durable than the Spectre. because I just think it's kind of crazy how just something in a pouch can mess up this finish so bad that's all the way down to the bare metal. So either there was a really nasty burr or they just put a bad finish on here. I don't know. One of the two. But I just use this glass case because it works. I just put it in here, zip it tight, put it in my range bag. I mean, this is nicer, more convenient, but I care more about my finish than convenience. What else? So if I had to pick between the two, I would pick the Spectre 22. I mean, I'm still glad I have this one. I like it a lot. I like to shoot it a lot. But for overall performance, I think this wins hands down. But that's just my opinion. I mean, they're both great suppressors. They both have a good reputation backed by Silencerco customer service, and they sound amazing on every 22 platform that I use. I know some suppressors are meant for like are better on rifles and other better on pistols, but I use these on bolt action 22s, semi-auto 22s, 22 pistols, and they both perform pretty awesome. Super quiet, especially when you're shooting wet with both of these. And I think, honestly, I think the Sparrow is a little bit better when shooting wet. I think it stages the water a little bit better, because when I'm shooting wet, I'll have to refill the Spectre 22 to put a couple more drops of water in more often than I will on the Sparrow. That's probably due in part due to the monocore design, and also that it's just a little bit wider, a little bit bigger of a diameter. So, pros and cons of each one. And they do have different finishes. I know I kind of mentioned that before, but looking at them may be kind of hard to tell on camera. But this is kind of a matte gray finish. And it feels more durable than this. This just feels like a paint, to be honest. But they may have changed it. They may, because I know this suppressor is newer than the Sparrow. So they may have changed the finish on the Sparrow for the more recent models. I'm not sure about that, but the finish on this one is definitely superior to the Spectre. So, pros and cons of each one. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message. Thanks.